he falls into that bucket as well. I wouldn't ask him to do it if he wasn't capable of. So you're right. I don't know if continuity is the right word, but if I felt like skills or something would be diminished, then I would only leave him at one spot. But he's shown the ability to do both.
Is that sort of the new norm, or is that just finding guys who have the capability to play pretty much anywhere?
I'd like to try to find more that can play more than one spot. It can usually settle down into one space, but I'd rather find out, okay, Nicky can do this and this. And then if I find out, okay, there's too much into the cup, then we can take a piece out. And so, but I'd rather start to find out, is there other things that they can make them unique to do that? Because it may not even be this season, you know, but I want in the back of my head to know, you know what, I've seen it, I saw it in practice, so I may have not, you know, shared it externally, but I do want to find out what unique things guys can have. And then you may never lean back on it, but if you have to, I think it's important.
Coach, bringing Marcus Mariota back, how important was that to the overall locker room and for Jaden's continued growth and development?
Yeah, and he really played well. And I think that's an important piece to it, because I never wanted to see he or any of his teammates, that's always at the top of the pile. Past that, it was really important. The teammate that he is, the respect that he has amongst not just the offensive players, but the entire team. There were some times in practice, you know, like he was absolutely throwing dimes, you know, against the defense and made it as hard a look, you know, as you could have possibly imagined. That speaks to who the competitor is. But to have him back, one as a player, two as a teammate, it was really important, and we're really, really pumped. I felt like I've known Marcus, coaching against him for a while, but to actually coach him this year was all that I hoped it would be.
Coach, what kind of player are the Bills getting in Derek Forrest?
Defo is a really tough, strong safety, really committed. But I think his toughness, the physicality, that's what stands out to me.
Thank you.
Hey Dan,
Hi.
there was a sequence in your game against the Eagles in the NFC title game that may be contributing to sort of the momentum to ban the tush push. The 4 defensive penalties in that 6-play sequence. Can you take me inside of that sequence right there, and if you have heard anything about the impact that might be having on the practice proposal that's going to be voted on today?
I haven't heard anything yet, but I spend more of my time thinking how to stop it, and so ways to, whether you're jumping over to try to grab the back of the quarterback to pull him down, or to go underneath, those are just, you know, ways and topics to go. As far as like penalties and awarding a touchdown, if that happens, like, yes, I was aware that that may happen. If there's a continued penalty over and over, I think that's what you're referring to. So yeah, I was aware that could be, but our team, we're made of like really tough competitive guys. Like, we're not going to concede anything. That's not how we get down. So if that meant like we're going to go fight for it to the last second of the last play of the last moment, like, that's who we are.
And other than that warning from the referee in that moment, did you ever hear anything from the league office or anything afterwards about how that appeared or looked on TV?
No.
Okay.
A couple good T-shirts out of it. That's about it.
Are you guys talking with the Patriots about joint practice this summer?
Yeah, we talked to them and some other teams, and then as the schedule comes and we get closer to it, we'll see. But Mike and the guys and Elliot, those are you know, one of the teams that we're visiting with.
Do you have a relationship with Mike? Like, why
Yes.
the Patriots? You know?
Yep. Yeah, just, you know, previous relationship with Mike, and you know, you'd like to do it, you know, locally, homes in a way, and where it all fits in. But I know as a head coach, you want to work with somebody who knows going to do it right, have good sessions, and so Mike was somebody I clearly felt that way about.
Do you like the idea of seeing Jayden Daniels and Drake May going at it for a few days?
I didn't think about it in that space, but I did get to know Drake through the process, and like, he's going to be excellent there too.
What did you think last year when you had 2 camp practices and there were longer stretches on the road? Do you feel like that benefited you guys in the long run?
I did. I think there's like 3 of them that I liked: the Jets one, the Miami one, and then the Arizona trip. And it's different, and I don't know how many of you guys covered training camp, being away and doing things where you don't have it in that same way, where there was some just natural flow of guys spending all that time together. And so I liked it, and we'll do that again this year, hopefully, to have whether we go out for 2 spots or have one at our spot and go away to one. But we anticipate doing that at least 2 times again this year.
Any update on the camp going away?
No update.
Camp will be in Ashburn.
Yep.
When you look at back at the run game last year, specifically with the running back room, you guys basically brought back the same group. What did you kind of think of that room, and then why, as for now, decided to bring the same group back?
Yeah, I thought there was some real impact that was made, and so for us, J-Mac also had a big role on special teams that had a big factor as well. Like most things, there's a lot that we want to dig in on. What were the schemes that were successful? Why were they? Even a step deeper, with certain schemes, who needs to be in to best execute that specific scheme? And so that's something I learned years ago during my first time in the NFL, kind of coming up through San Francisco and hearing, Coach Mariota talk about that, of not just the play, but who's needed specifically for that play. Not every player at every spot is the same. What tight end would you like to run this type of scene? And so looking at all of those things, but I love the versatility of the group, both in the running game and the passing game. That's a big piece for us, of the running backs catching the ball out of the backfield, just to attack the field horizontally and vertically. And if we can do that over and over through the run game, the screen game, motioning out to empty, bringing guys back in, that's a big piece.
Your Jaden had, obviously teams are going to try to throw different things at him. How can you help him in year 2 kind of get ahead of whatever the tendencies they may have saw in year 1?
It's a great question, and you want to go back through and look at these 20 games and say what were looks that came up, what were things to go, and so he digs a lot in each week. What are the team doing? What are the looks? And then by also us playing a lot of no huddle, you get some looks that you can see quickly. And so we played a few hundred more no huddle snaps than the rest of the league, and I like that we had uniqueness doing that. But you're definitely on the right track to find out if a team tries a certain scheme or things to go. But there was a lot thrown at him in his first 20 or so games, and so to go through that again and to dig in deeper, that's a big piece of it.
What do those sessions look like between you and him? You're talking defensive scheme.
Yeah, that's usually when I connect on with him about a certain scheme or what a team is trying to do, and that's what the defensive coaches, what are some new trends that we think could be coming up this year. Whether it's different type of pressure or a different way to utilize coverage. Those are the things that if I can help he and Cliff and the offensive guys stay ahead of that, that's the best way that I can help support them.
To that point, do you allow, you've been on the job for 14 months or so, do you allow how much progress and growth you guys have made as an organization in that time?
I think we probably do it in like smaller chunks. What we like about training camp, so we can try to find an edge to do it. What we like about things. One of the things that I did look back to see of the amount of players that wanted to re-sign, I think it clearly demonstrated how much they love to play football together. And so that made me happy to know that so many players are agents because of the teammates that they have in the locker room and the brotherhood they created together. And so that made me happy. I knew we were hitting in the right spot, that people wanted very, very badly to be back and part of it. They sensed what it can be here, but it only comes from them doing it together. It's not me talking about it or saying it on words on the wall. If they're not living it, then you don't have a culture or a standard. And the fact that they live it together, that's a big piece. And I think there's a lot of players, we talk a lot of, what we would call quote unquote the stars, but the team, and that's made up of your core group that's day in, day out, digging in and grinding. And so to see that many players want to be back, like, that's a big deal.
Dan, with the Laremy Tunsil trade, did Texas approach you all?
That's probably a better one for Adam onto that one in terms of trade stuff, because a lot of that goes on throughout the year, between GMs, whether it's in season or off season. So yeah, he'd be a better one to hit up on that.
Well, let me ask you, what is your understanding of what you're getting in him?
Yeah, that I can tell you. So coached against Laremy through the years, he's a tough matchup for any pass rusher. It's the length, and I would say he has this unique ability to have patience, which is a difficult thing to do as offensive tackle because of his athletic ability. A guy may head fake in, and you may see a another tackle bite on it and he gets beat, man, he can just wait it out and stay due to his length and his strength. So we're really pumped to have him to the crew.
Dan, with Bobby Wagner, obviously there's a lot of reasons to want to bring him back. Because
Hundreds, yeah, tackles.
Ultimately for you, I mean, what was sort of the main Jaden in the world of helping Jaden wherever you can? How much did that factor into
Yeah, I think I kind of addressed it with Candy earlier with Marcus. You want to re-sign great teammates, but you also want to re-sign great players. And when those two things are in sync, man, that's a no-brainer. And so the impact that Bobby made on and off the field was excellent. I can still remember we were in a tough stretch, and he was the one that stood up in front of the team. And I think that was something, Ben, that showed the leader that he is, because he is soft-spoken. He's got really high standards. He's the first one, just about he and Jaden, to the building every morning. But I think that shows over and over again, like how committed he is, and other people see that. So it was both, but it was the ball player first. But when you can add the ball player and the teammate, man, that's an easy one to do, and that was really important for us. So I know for Adam and Bobby to get that done together, like that's also some uniqueness there as well. And like I just think it's one of the coolest things.
How do you see two more?
You also obviously had some guys who had to move on, including guys you've had for a while, Dante and those. What were those conversations like for you? Like, sort of what was the line for those guys? Why ultimately do you think they're not back?
Yeah, I think sometimes the football and the business, they intersect. But those two, and specifically, I love them, and way past football, and that's for life. So both of them made a huge impact on my life, and we'll always be supporting them. But that is part of it, and you hear it's a business, and that is true. And there's certain times a year where those things, intersect, and that's part of it. And we all recognize that together. You wish everybody, could be back all the time, but that's not how it goes.